Okay, we couldn't find a video for timing the square baler. The one guy got it, Denny's Country or something, has got it for the Nodder timing, or the shear ties, or whatever you want to call the Massey Ferguson 124 baler timing. So the main drive chain here broke, and it's drove off the gearbox, which drives the pitman arm, which drives the crank arm, which drives the plunger. So then we took a white marker pen. So that's number 1, closest to the bale chamber, and that's number 6, and that's exactly how Massey has it in the book. No idea why. It might make sense in a minute. So to check the packer timing, rotate the flywheel until crank arm number 1 is straight down, which it is without busting out a square or a level. With the left-hand crank arm number 1 straight down, the right-hand crank number 6 should be straight down. Both crank arms are parallel. So that's about straight down too. If not, loosen the idler sprocket number 4, which is underneath the book here. There's a little cover there to get to it. Remove the chain from the drive sprocket number 5. When the chain is removed, the right-hand crank arm number 6 will drop straight down. So the 2 plunger arms are pretty close to being in time, I believe. That one there might be a half a link out, but I think it's fairly close. We weren't having trouble with that. When we broke the chain, they moved in relation to where the plunger is, so that's what we're timing. Okay, then to continue on, it says rotate the flywheel by hand until the plunger is on the compression stroke and the projections of the rear, or the projections on the face of the plunger are flush with the rear edge of the front stripper rail. Measure the distance from the top of the front stripper to the center of the packer fork crank. Measurement should be 13 to 13.5 as indicated as X. If fork assembly is not correctly timed, adjust the timing as following using a wooden block. So there's the projection on the front of the plunger, or face of the plunger, which is in line with the rear of the front stripper edge. And then you slip the tape in here. Putting it on the rail, and we have approximately 13 or 13.1/8. So that there matches that there. So if you don't have 13.5, which, or 13 or 13.5, which I do, it sounds like you cut a block 11 3/4 long, put it in here under the crank so it won't move, and then you go around to the front here, I'll show you, and you take the master connector link out of the drive chain and you wheel the pulley or the crank arm around and then put the chain back on in that particular position. And then it says whenever the packer fork timing is adjusted, the needle timing must be checked, and adjust the needle timing as necessary. Okay, I did not have to do this part. I marked the master with a felt pen this morning so we could make this easy. And in regular fashion, it looks like the mark has come off. Oh no, lovely. So the master is back there. So you would take that master apart, not moving that because your wooden block is in there. You would jump a tooth or go back a tooth. And then I'm pretty certain this is pretty close, because when the crank arm is up, straight up and down, which it's fairly close to straight up and down, that's how you set the needle and the Nodder timing. So one guy, Denny's Country Living or something like that, he's got a 10-minute video on that that's pretty thorough. So I don't think there's a need to duplicate it because he pretty much explains everything in great detail. So maybe just check his video out. So I did do the plunger bearing here before all this happened. The plunger bearing went out, the inner race and the balls all flew apart. This pillow block fell down, gouged the shaft, so I had to take it into the machine shop, get a new little stub shaft pressed into here, and then get the new bearing from, I think we got it from Massey, or we might have just got it from bearing supply shop. I can't remember. There's a major mix-up on it. I think actually Massey had the wrong bearing, so we ended up getting a bearing from just a bearing supply shop. And anyways, I had to pull all this apart. You take these two bolts out, you put a big extractor in here, you pull this off as a unit, including that chain sprocket. This pitman arm comes out. This is of course apart already. Took it to the machine shop, and then this is a spline drive, so we just marked it for the timing. That's actually what the mark is here, and then we had one on the flywheel, but it's rotated around. So we marked everything so it wouldn't come out of time when we moved the crank arm. But anyways, so that's how you time the fork fingers to the plunger. And then you can see, we'll just spin this over. As the plunger enters the chamber, the fork fingers come back out of the road so they don't get crushed. So anyways, that's it.